Hello and welcome. You're watching Newscentre. I'm Parikshit Luthra. In about 24 hours, India's moon mission Chandrayaan-3 is scheduled to touch down on the lunar surface. If the mission succeeds, India will become the first country to land on the moon's south pole. Sharing pictures of the moon captured by the lander's camera, the Indian Space Research Organization said the landing is right on schedule. Chandrayaan will attempt a soft landing at 5:45 p.m. India time tomorrow and will likely touch the moon's surface at 6:04 p.m. Remember, it is during this phase that Chandrayaan-2 crashed the previous time. K. Sivan, then chairman of ISRO, had described this phase as 15 minutes of terror. To take this discussion ahead, I'm now joined by Amitabha Ghosh, space scientist at NASA's Mars mission. Manish Purohit, former ISRO scientist, joins us as well, and GalaxEye's co-founder Denil Chawda is with us. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the program today. Amitabha Ghosh, if I can begin with you, definitely a big moment for India. We're all hoping, and I think the world is also hoping, that this mission is successful. Give us a sense of how this mission is important, not just for India, but also for the world in terms of space exploration.
Well, as a community, as a member of the community of planetary scientists, we are always excited if any mission anywhere succeeds, because you get more data, because you get more science. It increases the science frontier. So I'm very excited on that. And see, I think we are in this era where there will be many more missions and even private missions to the moon. And then there is this big push to go back to the moon, not just to explore, but to settle, make a settlement. So that is what NASA's Artemis program is about. So NASA is planning to land in 2026 humans after the Apollo missions, almost after a hiatus of 47, 50 years. So it's a very big thing that the moon is becoming important, in contrast to, humans used to go to the space station for the last 20 years, right. And now that frontier would be the moon. So it's all, the moon is the future.
Right. The moon is the future, according to you, Amitabha Ghosh. I'd also like to ask you, we have got pictures which have been beamed back by Chandrayaan-3. What's the importance of pictures that we received off the moon's surface so far? And what more data are you expecting if the Vikram lander lands successfully on the moon's surface?
So these pictures are not engineering and tactically or strategically important. I think what the pictures important is that as the lander and rover are going through the final stages of landing, it senses the ground, and based on that, the propulsion systems, the retro rockets, etc., come into action. So those are more important. And once it lands, it's very exciting. I don't think you realize how exciting it is. The rover is going to come down, then there is going to be a suite of scientific instruments, and there's going to be a 14-day long mission. I don't think people realize how exciting will be once it lands. And so, there'll be pictures, there'll be chemical analysis. It will be fascinating, and to control a rover in real time, or almost in real time from the ground here on Earth. So I've been part of like 4 or 5 missions like this, and so it is absolutely a different experience.
I can imagine it would be very, very exciting for people sitting in the control room in ISRO. And of course, it's very interesting and exciting for journalists like me as well, and for the average Indian citizen. But Manish Purohit, if I can get you in at this stage, as Amitabh was pointing out, give us a sense of what happens after the Chandrayaan-3 makes a successful landing on the moon's surface. What happens then onwards? What are the kind of experiments that will take place?
Once we land on,
All right, we seem to be losing that connection with Manish, but we'll get him back in just a bit. But Denil, if I can get you in from the point of view of GalaxEye, give us a sense of what you're really looking out for in terms of data, in terms of information, in terms of pictures that are coming out.
Sure, Parikshit. So we are actually very excited about this Chandrayaan mission because as we are talking about the instruments that it carries, and one of its aim is to study the lunar surface, and the instruments that it carry has spectrometers, which take images and analyzes the spectral signature of the surfaces, and through this we can identify water or the ice amount in the soil. So all of these things, are enabled by these instruments, and similar kind of activities are being done at GalaxEye. So we are very much excited, to see how all of this mission will pan out and how much, data this will bring it to us so that we can analyze it better.
Right. Amitabh, coming back to you, tell us about the kind of improvements. If you were to explain to the layman viewer in India, what are some of the kind of improvements that have been made to Chandrayaan 3 in order to avoid what happened in 2019? There's a lot of caution also, and scientists have said, yes, the landing is on schedule, but if the conditions are not favorable, then they may put off the landing for a few more days as well.
Okay, so it is not possible for me to say what improvements. Only the mission team knows, who have access to the engineering data. But on a very fundamental sense, I can tell you, landing on another soft landing, on another heavenly body is very difficult. There are a lot of parameters that you're trying to optimize. Remember, there are many subsystems on the spacecraft. And everything has to optimize just so the touchdown is maybe not more than 5 feet per second velocity or something of that order. Otherwise, you lose that entire suite of instruments. So, it's very hard to guess. I mean, if it was a NASA mission, nobody could say whether it will be foolproof. But I'm sure since the ISRO top officials are saying that they have made many improvements, I'm sure I would go with their word.
Right. Manish, Purohit, getting you back at this stage, of course, as a former ISRO scientist, this must be an exciting moment for you as well. Give us a sense of the kind of preparation that has been made, the kind of caution with which they are approaching the Chandrayaan 3 mission as well. Manish.
When we went through the Chandrayaan 2 data, so we found out that there were a few points where we missed the clues, and we went a bit, we bit wrong on the algorithm side. Our thrusters were not corrected in the right time. Our lander's orientation was not properly maintained, and then that resulted in that big mishap that happened in Chandrayaan 2. So we have worked a lot on every aspect of it. So it's like when we were designing our lander for Chandrayaan 2, that time our approach was a bit of like, we were expecting success in every phase, every step of the process. But now this time, what we have assumed in the beginning process is, if something goes wrong, how we are going to come back. So the whole trajectory, the last 17-18 minutes of that particular part when we are going to descend on the lunar surface, there slight changes have been made. We have, beefed up our sensors, we have beefed up our communication network part also. We have used improvised system for the thruster control, because the thrust last time was off nominal, means it was a bit off than expected. So all these things have been done. Apart from that, when we went to the algorithm part, we found that there were a few things that were hardwired in it. Hardwired in the sense that it was told to the system that in the camera costing phase, we should not check anything else. We have to just focus on the attitude control. But now this time that has been incorporated, when they will be real-time correcting the errors if they build up in that phase, and we reduce the duration of that phase also for just 10 seconds. So that afterwards, when we go for the fine braking, we don't have the issues that we had last time.
Okay, Manish, if I were to also ask you about the experiments that will be carried out by Chandrayaan 3, why are some of those experiments very relevant to planet Earth? How would those experiments, the results that come out of those experiments, be important for India, for humans? I think these are some very basic questions that people would want to know. How is that data important to our lives in future?
few of the experiments that we are going to do there. One is about the lunar quakes, and we have heard, we have read about, we have a lot of data about the equatorial part of the moon, but we don't have any seismometer on the polar region of the moon, and that's the place where we want to place our base camp. Lunar base camp is supposed to come there because if we get access to the water there, then that's the area where we'll be shifting our whole concentration, and that's where the whole focus is right now of the whole global community. So that will give us a very good idea about the upper surface of the moon and the inner mantle of the moon, because it is believed that the lunar quakes, they are not because of the tectonic movement. Maybe some other reason might be there. Maybe the reason is the influence of Earth, maybe. So that is one aspect of it that has to be go into the detail about it, one part. The other part is when we are doing the experiments, the other experiments we are studying about the plasma exosphere near the surface of the moon. We are going to the soil composition, we are going to the mineral composition. There we are expecting that will unravel the mysteries from the point of solar nebula time when the whole solar system was coming into existence. And one of the laser refractometer array that we have put, that was the NASA payload that we have on our Chandrayaan Vikram lander, that will be constantly measuring the distance we have from moon and the Earth, because moon has a big impact on our, aquatic cycles, the cycles in the oceans that we have.
Okay.
So these are the few things that we are more relevant, and all these things will be available for the global community to explore more.
All right, we've run out of time, but Amitabh, I could see you raising your hand. One quick answer, just about 15 seconds.
So the real promise in the future, you're opening up the frontier. So this is basic scientific research, but on the horizon is the possibility of space tourism. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are chasing that dream. And it is possible that in future you could hitch a ride to the moon, which is just 72 hours away if you had the right infrastructure at the right price and a habitation module on the moon where you could stay.
All right, so very interesting, opens up a lot of avenues. Maybe in future we'll be able to hitch a ride to the moon as well, as Amitabh and Manish were explaining to us. Denil, Chawda, Manish, Purohit, Amitabha Ghosh, thank you very much for joining us. Let's hope Chandrayaan 3 is a successful mission, and successful it will be. We're going to take a short break here on the program, but don't go anywhere. Lots more coming up. India Inc. has a 500 crore rupee socio-economic opportunity that is yet to be tapped as per India Welfare Trust report. A discussion with Bhargav Das Gupta of ICICI Lombard, Shalabh Sahai of